Evening, everyone, my dear friends, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are right now. My speech title is Raising Your Bar, Skills to Succeed at the Interviews. Talking about the interviews, I want to start my speech with a question to all of you, everyone in the room, Toastmasters, guests, everyone. Have you ever experienced an interview process with Amazon? Or have you read about it? I'm asking because there are so many IT professionals in this room. It is possible that at some point of time, some of you might have applied at Amazon Web Services or any other company in Amazon and went through the interview process. Or you want to do it and hence you read about it, or you just heard about from your friend or family friend like I did, and you are interested and read about it. They're mostly no. I saw one yes. I cannot zoom out who did it, but they're mostly no. So I'm safe. Nobody can challenge me. No, I'm just kidding. For people who have never experienced Amazon Web Services or Amazon in general interview process, for your information, it's very easy to know about it. Just Google out today how Amazon conducts interview. You will find a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of material on it. There are so many Amazon books written on it. If you go to Amazon website, you will find a lot of information over there as well about it. You can go to the LinkedIn account of Amazon, and there are so many articles on how Amazon conducts interviews. My experience with the process was a bit personal and then research-based. It happened because one of my family members, actually my niece, was shortlisted for one of the IT job roles 6 months back. And as she sought out my help, she wanted me to read some of the documents that were shared by the interviewer to her 2 weeks prior to the interview. And I would like to repeat, they shared those documents to her 2 weeks prior to the interview, which means Amazon interview process is not a secret to anybody. They don't keep it a secret. In fact, they are very transparent about it, and they are very proud of it. They want this world, they want you and me to know about this process and learn something from it. When I went through all those documents to help her out, I was so enthralled, so excited to know more that I started reading more about it myself. I read books about it. I went on internet to read more about it. I wanted to go to the depth of understanding what exactly Amazon is looking for in a candidate. And that's the whole point. I wanted to know what exactly is Amazon looking in a candidate. Why? Because I wanted to understand from the best or one of the best in the industry so that I can learn something from them, bring back to my organizations or talk to my friends like I'm doing right now. That brings me to the subject that if you guys are wondering, this guy is talking about how to ace the interview. He's talking about tips about how to succeed for an IT professional in the interviews. Why is he talking about Amazon? Well, we are here to learn. We are here to learn what we should do as an IT professional in the interviews to succeed. Why not to learn from the best of the best in the industry? So you should also try to know what exactly Amazon does in the interviews. Now, when I studied so much about it, a lot is there, but one of the most interesting things that I gathered was a concept known as Amazon bar raiser. In every interview that you will go through with Amazon usually do not stop at 4 or 5 rounds of interview, and every round is 1 hour each. At every round, there is a person in the room known as bar raiser. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have 5 people interviewing you, one of them is the bar raiser, but you will never know who is the bar raiser among the 5. The job of the bar raiser is obviously to raise the bar of communication at the interview. They are highly skilled interviewers, trained interviewers who will accept it into this program of bar raisers. They are experts in the industry, and they are there to test you against the Amazon's leadership principles, something that I will touch in my next slide. Now, why a bar raiser? Amazon wants you to be evaluated against their leadership principles. Their leadership principles are very popular, but in case you are not aware, Amazon has 14 plus. I say 14 plus because they just added 2 new leadership principles, which forms the foundation of the culture inside Amazon. And that's the reason of their success. That's a foundation of culture so much that each and every Amazonian follows these principles on daily basis. That's how it's incepted on them. So that's why during the interview, of course, after testing your functional skills, whether you're a programmer, tester, administrator, whatever, after that, they want to know whether you have the basics, the foundations to follow their leadership skills, aka soft skills, when you enter Amazon. Third reason, and the most important one, Amazon is looking for leaders and not just IT professionals. If you could remember one thing from my presentation, please, all of you, Amazon is looking for leaders and not just IT professionals. This message is especially for IT professionals out there. And when I talk about leadership skills, I want to make one thing clear. The leadership skills, aka soft skills, are not just for leaders, just because they call leadership skills. No, they are tested out for programmers, testers, trainers, sales manager, you name the position. No matter how junior the position is or how senior, you need to have those leadership skills. To showcase that, I've got 3 examples, 3 short real stories from Amazon interviews. And I say they are real because the source is an article by David Anderson, who himself is a bar raiser at Amazon. He's not an employee of Amazon, but he's a bar raiser at Amazon. He wrote an article some time back on how to interview at Amazon, which is public for anybody to read. He's highlighting the importance of leadership skills in these real interview stories. And before I show you the first example, I want to say one thing. The name of the interviewee, the candidate, is obviously hidden, but the phrasing was not changed at all. An exact question and answer is given to you. Let's take a look at the first example. During the middle of the interview, somewhere, bar raiser asked the candidate, okay, that's a good start. What else? The candidate replies, no, that's it. I repeat the question for all of you. And that's why I wrote there like this. The bar raiser is asking you as a candidate, all right, thank you, good start. But what else? He is giving you an opportunity to express something more. He wants to hear something more from you so that he can get more data to review who you are and what have you done, giving himself more reason to consider you. But if the candidate says, no, that's it, the candidate has missed an opportunity to narrate a story. He has missed an opportunity to communicate. Now, either because he's not bothered, or he was not ready, or he's not confident, the candidate that is. Either way, that's a shortcoming. Another example, a different example. Bar raiser to the candidate. How did you react to the system shutdown? I mean, what did you do for the customer during that period? The candidate replied, I had to wait for the backup. Customer is anyways the responsibility of the project manager. Amazon wants to test you in the interview that during the challenging times, did you wake up as a leader? Did you work as a team person? Or you just managed to save your job? In this example, the candidate clearly showed that he did not raise to the level of a leader. He did not show any ownership or any customer obsession in this example. One last example. Excuse me. Bar raiser. So far, this new project, we have Java in our mind. What do you say? The candidate actually replied, well, I'm good in C and C++. Do you have something in that? He's in a way asking, do you have a project in C and C++? Because that's all I can do. The candidate here has failed to show his curiosity to learn new things, his curiosity for self-development for a very critical project at Amazon. It doesn't matter how technically good he is right now. He's not getting into Amazon next round because he's not willing to learn. These are 3 real examples I have shown you to show you, to highlight you the importance of soft skill, leadership skills for an IT professional during the interviews in a big company like Amazon. That's why your functional skills are not enough at Amazon. And that's precisely why you are tested by such tough behavioral questions, because they want to test your leadership skills. They want to test whether you have enough soft skill in addition to your functional skills to excel at Amazon, especially during challenging times. Today, you can Google out leadership skills are soft skills. If you just type out what are the top soft skills for an IT professional, I actually did, to be very honest. And that's how I wrote these. But these are not enough, but these are the top 10. Communication skills, leadership skills, ownership, presentation skills, critical thinking, curiosity, project management, teamwork. The list is long, but these are the top 10. I'm sure if you have done it in the past, some might come over here. And in my 3 examples, I touched lack of communication skill, lack of leadership, lack of ownership, and lack of curiosity. That's what the industry is looking for, especially the top ones, if you want to excel in an interview as an IT professional. Now, so far, whatever you have heard is my point of view, and maybe somewhere aligned with your point of view of how important the soft skills are and how gaining access to that, showing those skills in the interview can hamper your growth. The question is, if you don't have these skills, because none of us are born with these skills, right? I can say it easily because I'm a 44-year-old man, read a lot about it, failed a lot of interviews in my life. But you guys many of you are very young over there, 25, 26, 27, 30. How do you gain those skills before you get old like me and get into a good company like Amazon? Well, there are a lot of platforms to do it. Self-learning. For example, today you can go to Udemy and do a lot of courses on, let's say, curiosity or leadership. You can just pay $15 for it and learn a lot about it. You can experience it at your job. You can see other people doing it, learn from your own constructive criticism, peer support. If you have good mentors in your company, in your circle, they can teach you a lot. As long as you're willing to learn and as long as they are willing to teach you that. Formal education. You can do an MBA today and learn a lot about leadership in addition to the IT courses or degree that you might have done. But then there are some platforms for self-development. And today I'm touching one of the most beautiful platforms for self-development. And that's called Toastmasters. When I joined Toastmasters 3 years back, in my first meeting, I was supposed to give my icebreaker. For those who are not aware of the term icebreaker speech, it is an opportunity for you to come in front of the audience, which is your fellow Toastmasters, your seniors, your mentors, and the guests, and introduce yourself. But when I say introduce yourself, it's not just about giving your name. My name is Aakash. I'm working with ThinkSmart. Nice to meet you guys. No, you are given 5 to 7 minutes to express yourself. Why express yourself? Because you need to connect to the audience. Because if you don't connect to the audience, you don't join that community. That's what you're trying to do in an interview, for example. If you don't connect to the interviewer, if they don't know more about you, if they don't relate to your experience, it's difficult to move on because sometimes, unfortunately, first impressions are last impressions. So when I stood up, I was very, very, very nervous. I was very scared. But I was prepared to some extent because I was passionate to introduce myself to my dear guests. So I shared some additional stories about my childhood. I, in fact, even went to the length of saying that I had a very shy childhood, but how I recovered this during my profession and stuff. It was well received, but most importantly, it helped me to break the ice with the strangers and helped me to connect with them. Toastmasters hence helps you, motivate you, pushes you to be strong, be brave, and tell your story in a nice way, in a narrative way to the audience that you're meeting for the first time. In my second meeting at Toastmasters, I was supposed to prepare a speech. This time it was a speech on a particular subject. So when they give you a speech on a particular subject, you can't just come on the stage and start thinking about it, randomly speaking about it. No, that's not what they are expecting. When they give you a particular subject, let's say leadership, like they have given me here, I'm supposed to prepare a speech which has an opening, which has examples, which has a very strong message, and then a very strong outcome and a message and a conclusion. So I prepared the speech and then I practiced and practiced and practiced. I practiced because I didn't want to fail. I practiced like I practiced for this speech before coming over here. Toastmasters, hence, it's not just about communication skills. It teaches you how to prepare for an important meeting, how to practice for it, practice so not to fail, and deliver and take the constructive feedback and improve when you come next time. My third, fourth, fifth meeting at Toastmasters, it was not just about speaking. It was about playing different roles of a grammarian, role of a timer, role of an evaluator and all. And most of the times, if my fellow Toastmasters allow me to say that, it happens randomly. And when it happened randomly, and whether you're going to pick it or you're going to say, sorry, I'm not ready for it. If you pick it, it shows your leadership, your ownership, your flexibility and adaptability. You be a part of the community and you play the role for the sake of the team. That's what, just a reminder, Amazon looks in a candidate, not a stubborn candidate who wants to do only what he's good at. Skills I gained with Toastmasters: confidence, communication, presentation, preparation, teamwork, leadership, ownership. Some of them I have learned in the last 3 years through an amazing, interesting journey with my family. A special thanks to my dear club. I have a special slide for them. Bahrain IT Professional Toastmaster Club, BITP. I'm a part of that club. When you guys join Toastmasters, inshallah, you'll be joining one or the other club. I belong to BITP Club, Area 3, Division 3, District 20. Club motto, communication and art of a leader. How related it is. Communication, art of a leader. That's what I've been trying to tell you in some of my slides. So a big thank you from my side to my club. My dear friends, Toastmasters is a family of friends and mentors. You don't have to be perfect. In fact, you are here today in this room because you know somewhere you are not perfect. You want to join Toastmasters because you know you are not perfect. None of us are. And that's the beauty of it. The beauty of Toastmasters is that you will be motivated to play roles and speak among the audience and learn leadership skills, even if you're not good at it, even if you're taking time. In fact, more time you take to be good at something, more motivation you will get to speak more about it and learn more about it. You will be getting a mentor. I was very lucky to have an amazing mentor when I joined Toastmasters, an unbelievable speaker, something that I could never be, not even 5% of it, but he taught me a lot. He supported me a lot. In fact, my first 3 speeches that I gave at Toastmaster, he personally even tested the grammar of my speeches. That's kind of a help you will get from your mentor. I really hope, my dear friends, most of you who are not Toastmasters and wants to know more about it, join Toastmasters very soon. I really hope for that. And most importantly, I wish you all the luck in your next interview. God bless you, and thank you so much for listening to me.